Compassion, the kindness of the human heart, is one of the most beautiful expressions of our shared humanity. The writer Maxim Gorky once said that the coldest place in the world is not the Arctic, but the place where love is absent. This saying makes us reflect on the love between people, and on our responsibility to love and care for others. When speaking about this topic, the late musician Transcendson offered a way of living through his song. Let the wind carry it away with the line, living in this life. We each need a loving heart. This lyric helps us better understand how people should live with one another in this world. People live together because of feelings, because of the heart, and so we must live with compassion. Offering love and care to those around us. Non is a Sino-Vietnamese word. If we break it down, non means human and I means love. So, non means love for humanity, love for people. It is a sincere feeling that comes straight from the heart, given to one another. It does not come from selfishness or narrow-mindedness. It arises from tolerance, forgiveness, and purity. It does not need to be expressed through grand deeds. Compassion appears all around us in our everyday lives, surrounding each of us. The poet T. Who once wrote, "What in this life is more beautiful than this? People living to love one another." The love that people have for one another like that is called compassion. Compassion is the way we give love without selfishness, without wanting anything in return, without demanding repayment or gratitude. It comes from the very depths of the human heart. Compassion is a strong and enduring weapon that helps human beings overcome difficulties and hardships, the obstacles and trials that life places before us. When we collapse under the weight of our first failures, it is the love of our parents, siblings, and friends that lifts us up, comforts us, and helps us stand again to keep walking on our unfinished path. The life of New Uningi C. Kaeb, a talented man with gifted feet, is proof to the whole nation of Vietnam that beyond endless effort, persistence, and determination, the love of those around him helped him overcome the limitations of his body. When both his arms were paralyzed, he became a teacher, a writer, and a counselor for young people. With his extraordinary feat, he contributed significantly to the education system of our country. Compassion is a beautiful form of affection between human beings, the love within a family, the love between friends, between teachers and students, between comrades, and even toward people we do not know at all. It appears in our actions, our gestures, and our words each day. It does not need to be loud or attention-grabbing. It does not require donating tens of millions or hundreds of millions to appear on the front page of newspapers or in charity headlines. Sometimes it is simply an old item, an old shirt, an old notebook, or even a small amount of savings sent to those living in hardship, along with the sincerity that we send to remote mountainous regions, to victims of Agent Orange, or to those struggling through disasters. These are very practical acts. All of them share the purpose of giving love, helping, and sharing, bringing joy and happiness to lives less fortunate than our own. Compassion can also be as simple as a tender look, a comforting word, a warm handshake, or an embracing hug that gently soothes another person. Ladies and gentlemen, the beauty of human kindness has been compared to the brightest diamond among all metals. The innocent and pure empathy, the heartfelt sharing of one small boy in the story mentioned earlier is steeped in the beauty of how people treat each other in life. People often say life is inherently imperfect. It always contains both good and bad, both virtue and cruelty. We must constantly struggle so that beauty can survive and shine. To share and to empathize is to bring joy to others, to become a support for one another's souls so that life becomes more lovable and meaningful. When we share and empathize, it must come from a pure heart, not from selfish motives. Only then is our character truly complete, and only then do we avoid hurting others. The American billionaire Bill Gates, even after becoming successful and famous, has never forgotten his responsibility as a human being to turn toward the poor and struggling with acts of sharing that relieve their suffering. It is deeply admirable to see the noble heart of Bill Gates when he chose to give most of his wealth to the poor and to reserve the smallest portion for his children. However, there is one priceless asset his children inherit: his compassionate heart and his beautiful moral Character. There is something that compels people to bow down in respect, and that is the human heart. Bill Gates is that kind of person. In a society where we live leaning on one another, one profession depending on another to survive, compassion does more than just help people through hardship and give them a source of love. It also serves as a measure of a person's moral quality. A person who knows how to love and cherish beauty must first be someone with knowledge and understanding, someone admired and respected by others. They know how to make themselves happy and help those around them find happiness as well. Compassion is a spiritual medicine that washes away base desires, greed, lust, selfishness, things that slowly erode our humanity bit by bit. Love purifies the human soul, helping us feel happiness, calm and ease. It is like a powerful remedy that heals illnesses of the heart and soothes all pains within us. Sometimes when we give love, what we receive, even if it is not material, is the happiness that comes from giving. That feeling is more valuable than any ordinary material thing. As Rainer Maria Rilke once said, something magical happens to those who truly know how to love. The more they give, the more they have. Not only that, compassion is also an essential foundation for a developing society. Why is that? Because compassion is love and sharing. With compassion, people can share with one another, sympathize with one another, soothe sorrow, loss and poverty, and together build a nation that is more civilized and prosperous, a society that becomes more beautiful every day. When there is compassion, the power of community spreads. It limits many negative phenomena and pushes aside evil and harmful behaviors, clearing them from society. Compassion spreads love from each individual to the community, igniting warm feelings and connecting hearts. Every act of compassion, multiplied, becomes an endless ocean of kindness. To live with compassion is to live a meaningful life. It leaves behind good reputation for thousands of years and for future generations. Living in this world, we need a loving heart. When we know how to love, care for and look after others, life becomes much more beautiful and meaningful. Because the love of human beings is bottomless, we should always give each other the best and most sincere things, like a dandelion that releases all of its seeds when the wind blows, trusting the wind to carry them everywhere to spread life. When we do good and love others, our hearts feel relaxed and at ease. We should never think that when we give, we receive nothing in return. In fact, when we do good, when we care for and help others, what we receive is joy and happiness, even if it is simple and small. It is incredibly precious. Real love has often been likened to a giant bag that humanity cannot fully define. We can sense that true love is abstract to the point of being difficult to grasp. Yet at the same time it is simple. It is when we see an orphan child lying quietly on a bench, when we see an elderly person slowly moving along, begging, and we feel our hearts stirred. It is when we see people in central Vietnam suffering storms and floods, some dying, families torn apart, property destroyed, and we cannot help but feel moved. We realize that love is worry and concern for others, even those we have never met, even those who pass quickly through our lives. There are people who constantly try to give, without ever thinking about receiving anything for themselves. When we give love naturally, we will receive worthy happiness in return. Sorrow, when shared, becomes lighter. Happiness, when shared, doubles indeed. Being loved is a happiness, but loving others is an even greater happiness. Love also does not lie outside the law of conservation of energy in physics. It can be seen as a form of energy that never disappears. Love is only transferred from one place to another, transformed from one form into another. Those who give and receive love are taking part in this mission of transmission. The person who gives love, who spreads love, receives in return joy and happiness when they feel understood and know they have helped someone in a more difficult position. That help may not be material. It may be spiritual support, which is even more precious. When the sun is enough, the flowers will bloom. When there is enough love, happiness will overflow. A wise heart once said, "Happiness is to love and to be loved." Stoic philosophy teaches that hurting others is spreading suffering, while loving and protecting others is what creates genuine connection and sincerity. Stoic philosophy also teaches that compassion does not necessarily have the power to help us escape physically painful circumstances, but it protects us from hatred and all the suffering that hatred brings with it. Stoic philosophy has also taught about compassion to groups of practitioners. It explains teachings on loving kindness and selfless concern for others. According to these teachings, one must forgive all beings, all people, all creatures, even those who make us angry or full of hatred. Stoic philosophy wants practitioners to live peaceful lives, not causing harm, but ready to help and protect others. In addition, it encourages meditative skills that calm the mind with compassion. One way is to focus on a specific phrase and repeat it, such as, "May all beings be at peace. May all beings be safe and protected from harm. May all beings be forgiven. May all beings be free from all suffering. May all beings be happy." Compassion always exists within each human being. Let us live compassionately, give love, and we will receive love in return. If we live that way, our lives will always be filled with laughter and happiness. As Victor Hugo wrote in his classic work Les Miserables, "In this life, there is only one thing to do, to love one another. That alone is enough. This is the only thing that truly matters." Maxim Gorky was extraordinarily skillful in awakening the Russian people to the importance of love. In a time of brutality and repression, his words remain immortal for all eras, for all peoples around the world. I need love. You need love, and everyone needs love. For one simple reason, the coldest place is not the Arctic, but the place where love is absent. Love among human beings brings happiness to humanity. Therefore, let us give our love generously to everyone. To love in order to live, and to live in order to love, that is the essential happiness of human beings. If we have compassion and practice compassion to create good change, then the world will also become a better place. As teacher Noah Levin has taught, each of us should nurture within our hearts multicolored stones of love, to paint life with the colors of peace and happiness. Love is a moral quality and a noble virtue that everyone should have and cultivate. Ladies and gentlemen, today's topic has come to an end. Thank you for listening to our program. We wish that you receive much positive energy and enjoy a peaceful life. At Stoicism Philosophy Daily, we share stories, reflections, and timeless lessons from Stoic philosophy to help you live with a kinder heart and a clearer mind. Through each video, we invite you to practice compassion, resilience, and inner peace in your everyday life. May these teachings support you in becoming a stronger, calmer, and more loving version of yourself, and in spreading the goodness to everyone around you.